Thanks for tuning in, where I overthink every spread, mispronounce half the roster, and swear my picks are Lock City. Grab a drink, enjoy the show, because this is the smartest idiot you know. Welcome back to another week of NFL football. We're in week 12. Week 12, we've got some good matchups. Good enough to where I think I've kind of gone chalk looking ahead at the games, previewing the games. I've got a lot of favorites in my list. I'm not finding a lot of dogs that I like. It's just one of those, maybe I could switch a game here or a game there, but it really looks to be more along favorite city here. And that kind of scares me a little bit, because whenever you go that route, you tend to lose quite a few. Last week was not a great week. I think I have five wins out of the whole weekend. My wife picked better than me. But we had some weird games, a lot of injuries. A lot of key injuries. And whether you want to argue that had an impact or not on some of the swing of the games, that's debatable, right? We can go round and round talking about injuries, but injuries do have an impact. Let's just cut to the chase there. But as far as the game ending the way that they did, whether or not my outcome would have been better or not, that remains to be unseen, right? With injuries. One of the biggest heartbreakers I had was Tampa Bay versus the Bills. I really wanted Tampa Bay to pull it out there, but it just didn't happen. Tampa Bay could, the mojo just could not last for them, and it is what it is. Tampa Bay it seems like no matter what, they cannot play up in competition. Every time they play a team that is supposed to be above them in the competition tiers, they just don't play up. They take care of business when they're supposed to, but for whatever reason, they don't play up in competition, and that's something to take notice of going forward. Be mindful of that. Don't be fooled by Tampa Bay's record or the way that they've played certain teams. Just know that they don't play up. They definitely take care of the lower tier teams, that's for sure. But that's a good segue into the first game of this week, which is a Thursday night game. That game is tonight. Today is Thursday. We've got Buffalo over down in Houston, down south. And Buffalo looks to be a 5-point game here. And I'm going to take the Bills. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to back the team that I think is better. Although the Texans, they have a good squad. That defense is legit. It is an elite defense. And but why are the Bills better than the Texans? Well, the Bills, they have Allen, right? I mean, they have Allen. They have a decent defense themselves. It's nowhere in the same category as the Texans. But you cannot go against. I mean, not you can definitely go against, but it's hard to bet against Allen, even though Allen has burnt us a few times. And this game could be one of those weird Thursday night games on Amazon that doesn't pan out that way. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen Buffalo play, and I'm yelling at the screen, just run the ball. Why are we trying to do, all this fancy stuff? Dayball needs a job. Get him back as offensive coordinator. But that's not going to happen. But Buffalo, I think Allen might have. Maybe this is going to be the first game that Buffalo has that's complete start to finish, and they kind of prove the doubters wrong. They come in, they play a great defense, and they just steamroll it. That would be amazing if that happened. But the over-under, I think, is 44 in this game. That leads me to think that they think Buffalo is going to score, and somehow they think Houston's going to score. And I say somehow, and the reason why I say somehow is because they're not playing with Stroud. If I remember correctly, they're not playing with Stroud. And yeah, the Texans won their last game, but Will Marks is that offense right now. I mean, just think about that. They're relying on defense and Will Marks. And if Buffalo does what Buffalo's supposed to do, what you want them to do, because they are the better squad, they should be better coached. They should be better prepared for success. Even missing Coleman and Kincaid, they should beat Buffalo by 5. Or not beat Texans by 5. I'm sorry. They should beat the Texans by 5. But that's the Thursday night game. I got Buffalo against Houston, and I think Houston's going down tonight. And I hope it's a high-scoring affair with Buffalo just running away with it. That'd be awesome. The next game, we got the New York Jets versus the Baltimore Ravens. This one's interesting because it's a 13.5-point spread for me, and I don't know. Tyrod Taylor is playing. Whenever you put a decent backup into a squad, you know, they do have some spark. And the Jets, I mean, whoever can really bet on the Jets this year? I mean, we've seen all the games that they've played. It's hard to back. It's hard to back them. I think that they need a year 2 to see what happens with a refreshed squad on offense. They need to get some more defensive pieces. But Baltimore is in the same seat there on defense. You know, are guys coming back on defense? Are they going to be healthy on defense? Is Lamar going to actually be healthy 100% this week? You know, we don't really know until game time, which is going to be noon on Sunday. And 13.5 is a lot. Can Baltimore do it? 100%. But could they also let up and allow the Jets to score? Yeah, they could, because they're playing the Jets. I'm going Baltimore at 13.5, and you know, I'm going to have to see something crazy not to take them, but I would not be surprised if the Jets cover with Tyrod Taylor and the Ravens underperform. I would not be surprised. But I would go with Baltimore. Baltimore is by far the better team there. We have the next game is going to be Pittsburgh and Chicago. Pittsburgh's going over to Chicago, playing in Soldier Field. The spread there is Chicago by 2.5. And I'm sticking with Chicago by 2.5 there. I think the Bears are doing something good. They're 7-3 record. Some argue that the 7-3 is misleading. I mean, if you think about it, they have the same record as the Bills. And what's the better squad? I would say they're dead even, because I don't think the Bills really have showed anything this year either. I mean, they've had me shaking my head countless times in their games. But Chicago is on the different spectrum. They're overachieving this year. I did not have high expectations for the Bears because I'm not a huge Caleb Williams fan. I mean, he has not really proven anything to me in his collegiate time or in his pro time for me to really jump on his bandwagon. But Ben Johnson has really put the Chicago Bears squad in a good situation. Their defense isn't playing the best, but they're playing enough to win, enough to keep the offense alive, and they're creating turnovers. And then the offense is coming around and they're converting, whether it's field goals or touchdowns. You know, they're doing what they need to do. It seems like Ben Johnson's plan is working. Now, is it what Detroit did? No, it's not. It is not what Ben Johnson did over in Detroit, but this is a completely different team. You can't just replicate that type of success. Yeah, Ben Johnson has a different philosophy that he's going in with this team based on the makeup of the team. And yeah, the games might be lower scoring than you're used to in Detroit, but the important thing is that Ben Johnson is winning. And I'm going to side with the Bears 2.5. we have a good one with Indy and the Chiefs, arguably maybe the two best teams in the league whenever it's said and done. They're both in the AFC. But Indy has kind of showed, playing against some good teams, they're not as untouchable as they appeared in the beginning of the season. And that should happen. It's very hard for a team to just go undefeated or only have 2 losses for the whole year. It is very hard in the NFL for that to happen. If it wasn't, there'd be a lot of teams to do it, right? And so Indy is going to falter. They're not going to win every single game just because you think that they're this best team in the league. Same thing with the Chiefs. They're 5-5, right? This is going to be in Arrowhead Stadium, and the Colts. I don't think the Colts get it done here against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, they have the momentum here. I really would like to see Mahomes use his legs in this game, but regardless of whether he does it or doesn't, I think Indy late in games when they're playing good competition, for whatever reason, they tend to kind of fall apart. And I think Kansas City can take advantage of that. They're favored by 4 or 3.5. And I'll take that. I know the public is probably going to go on Indy here and taking the plus money for Indy. A lot of people probably think that Indy will win straight up because, you just look at it, just looking at 8-2 versus a 5-5. But this KC team is not a true 5-5 team. They're a good team. And they're fully healthy. Their defense is not sus. And, Indy's got a good defense and a good running game. But I think KC can. I think they can get on top and stay on top, and they might be able to build the lead a little bit. So give me KC by 3.5, and we'll move right on to the Giants versus the Lions. And man, I love watching the Lions. They're 6-4. Should they be 6-4? 100% no. They are better than 6-4. Whereas the Giants are 2-9. Are the Giants better than 2-9? No. Hell no. The Giants suck, dude. They fired their coach. And even if you bring Jackson Dart back this Sunday, I really don't. The spread is 10.5. You don't even have to throw the ball on the Giants. You could just feed Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery the ball, and they're still going to win probably by 12. I hate getting this confident in a pick because it always backfires. But Detroit should not even allow to be within 14 of the Giants. They really shouldn't, even with Jackson Dart playing. It's just one of those. It's Detroit. They're the far superior team there. They have more going on and playing for. And that matters because, these guys are going to get paid no matter what. And I'm not saying that they're not competitive, but, you just had your coach fired. You've had a lot of injuries on the team. I'm pretty sure some people are going to be protecting themselves a little bit. Some people might be playing for contracts, but, at the end of the day, you're playing against a team that's supposed to obliterate you. Right? It's not like you're playing a team that you have a semi chance to win here. I don't think they have a good chance to win. And now watch, I'm saying that, and the Giants come out and just smack them. But the Lions are the better team there, even without Laporta. Like I said before, you don't even have to throw the ball on the Giants, at least Detroit. I'm talking about this specific game, Detroit. They could just run the ball and still win by double digits. So give me Detroit here, the Lions by 10, and I think that'll be a good game to watch for Detroit. Another game to watch, this one's going to be kind of hard to pick, is New England versus the Bengals. Joe Burrow's practicing. New England is at Cincinnati. If Joe Burrow wasn't practicing, if it was just strictly Joe Flacco, who would I pick here? I'm going to pick New England. Although I feel like the only way that New England covers versus Flacco is just Flacco plays like he's 40. If Flacco plays like he's 40, then New England is definitely going to cover by more than 6.5. And right now it's 6 actually. And are they going to win by a touchdown? Yeah. Jamar Chase is suspended. But if Joe Burrow comes back, is that enough spark to give the Patriots enough of a struggle to where they don't cover by 6? That is something that's interesting. That's what makes this game on Sunday interesting. As it stands right now, I'm picking New England by 6, or by 7, whatever the 2 would be. But right now it's 6. I would stick with the Patriots even with Joe Burrow coming back. Because, Joe Burrow hasn't played. And Jamar Chase is out. Yeah, you got Higgins. Cincy's defense is not going to show up. So, yeah, I mean, all New England has to do is control the ball. But whenever they do that, you always think, okay, 2-3-point game here. Yeah. I mean, it is a struggle. I mean, I have to go with the Patriots. It's just a matter. I'm trying to run the scenarios where they don't cover by 6. If it's Flacco, no question, right? No question. I mean, they gave us some pause when they played the Jets. I'm sticking with New England. I'm going to go 6. I'm just going to be confident in that, regardless of the QB situation. But you at home or wherever you're listening, if you are following that game, I mean, Joe Burrow going in does have an impact of the game. But remember, Jamar Chase is out. He's suspended because he spit some guy in the face last game. You can't do that. It's a big no-no. Don't be spitting in people's faces. But, be mindful of that. If you've got confidence in the Patriots, no matter, what happens over in New England, then yeah, pound them. But if you're worried about Joe Burrow coming back, be a little hesitant about that. Make sure it makes sense for you. But New England's 9-2. They're 9-2, and I've heard some people complain about who they've played. They haven't played anybody good. And honestly, I mean, when we look at it, they're 9-2. The last 10 games, they beat Miami, lost to Pitt. They beat Carolina. They beat Buffalo. They beat New Orleans. They beat Tennessee. They beat Cleveland. They beat Atlanta. They beat Tampa Bay. And they beat the Jets. I look at that and I go through, and I mean, you beat Miami, that was a division game. And you won that 33-27. And Miami is a dumpster fire. But at that point, Miami was fully healthy. You beat the Browns. Okay. You beat Atlanta by 1 point. They have that defense. They have a great defense. You beat Tampa Bay. That's the big win that I'm looking at, is beating Tampa Bay. You beat Buffalo. Granted, I know what we said about Buffalo, but I mean, Buffalo is still a good team. I mean, you're playing against Josh Allen. Carolina is not as bad as everyone makes them out to be, but I could understand people arguing that Carolina is not a good win. Atlanta is not a good win. The Jets is not a good win. I'd say Tampa Bay and Buffalo is a good win. I'd even say the Saints might even be a good win, because I think they started playing the Saints right when the Saints kind of woke up. The loss to Pitt is that's heartbreaking. You don't want to lose. Yeah, you don't want to lose to the Steelers. I mean, they lost 14-21. The next 3 games are versus the Giants, and they play Buffalo again and then Baltimore. So I mean, easy win against the Giants, right? Hopefully they're not overlooking that one. Then they got to play Buffalo, and then they come in and they play Baltimore. So hopefully they can win 10, 11 in a row. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I got New England by 6 in that one. We got Seattle versus Tennessee. This is another big spread. Just like the Ravens game, Seahawks are favored by 13. This is in Tennessee. Tennessee's not 1-9. Seattle's 7-3. I mean, Seattle has done enough. They have done enough. They've proven enough that, back them no matter what the spread is. I mean, they've proven it. Now, what happened last week with Seattle? I mean, Seattle, if they play a good defense, Sam Darnold's going to throw picks. Plain and simple. You don't have to worry about that with Tennessee, though. I mean, you should be able to move the ball in Tennessee. Will they play some defense? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But, just take the points. I mean, Seattle, they could score 30 in the first quarter. Who knows what is going to happen when Seattle takes the field there. But if you're gonna take that game, I mean, side with Seattle. Don't be scared of the points. They're playing Tennessee. It's gonna be an interesting matchup. Let's see how prepared Seattle actually comes. I think it's a good test to make sure that they put away bad teams. We got Minnesota and Green Bay. Here I was kind of torn on this one. I did all my picks and then left this one for last because I don't like this matchup. I really don't. I have zero faith in J.J. McCarthy, but also the Packers. I got zero faith in the Packers. I really do. This is a division, and on top of that, it's a division game. And I just don't know. I think the spread at 6.5 is just too big for us to really back either team. And I know that sounds wrong, but I mean, the spread is 6.5. It's a touchdown. Who do I think of those two teams is going to win by a touchdown? Not win, but, is Minnesota going to be within a touchdown, or is Green Bay going to win by a touchdown? I don't even know if Minnesota can get enough points on the board. But then I look at Green Bay, and it's like, I mean, are you going to score more than 3? If you score 9, are you going to be able to shut Minnesota out? You know what I mean? Like, is this going to be low scoring? Because all Green Bay games have been pretty, it's been horrible to watch. The Monday night game that they had against Philly, it was 0-0 at half. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to have two teams with such a great offense to be 0-0 at half. It's not like your defenses have been playing great. I mean, let's be honest. It's not like it was 0-0 because their offenses or their defenses are so good. No, both their offenses played like shit, and they have all year. I mean, the Eagles, they have some weird thing going on in their locker room between Hurts and A.J. Brown. Let's get that resolved first off. And then Green Bay, nobody knows what the hell they're going to do. Are they going to run the ball? Are they going to throw the ball? If they're going to throw the ball, is Love actually going to be good, or is Love going to get hurt? I mean, I'm going to go with Green Bay, though. I mean, just stick with the Packers by 7 against Minnesota because, I mean, I have zero faith in J.J. McCarthy. I said that from the beginning of the year. I said that he never should have got rid of Daniel Jones. They shouldn't have let Sam Darnold walk. Both of those guys, you shouldn't have let walk. JJ needed another year behind in order to learn. And I don't even know if he was going to learn what he needed to learn. I really just, I don't know. I don't know if he had it in him. So, I mean, it's a 50-50 spot here, It's a coin flip. It's weird it's the coin flip of a 7-point spread. But I'd flip it over to Green Bay's side. That's what I would do. I mean, Green Bay needs to win for the division, stay in contention. Minnesota, they could get closer, maybe, but I mean, you still got to fight through the Lions and the Bears to get on top of that division, and I don't see that happening for Minnesota. Minnesota's not a great team. They need some pieces starting at the quarterback position. We got Jacksonville and Arizona. I mean, come on, Arizona. They're going to be playing with Jacoby Brissett, and this makes it interesting, hard to pick. It's a 3-point game, I think. It is. I have it right. Yep, it's a 3-point game for sure. I would go Jacksonville here, but I really do not like Jacksonville's setup. I mean, you're looking at the QB situation there in Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence has been a complete dud the past 2 years. I mean, it's like, dude, cut your hair. I don't know. Do something, man. Do something to spark it up. I mean, you're playing like you're playing horrible. And it's not the coaching, because Doug Peterson is actually a really good quarterbacks coach. I mean, you should have been excelling under Doug Peterson. But I mean, the team is 6-4. It's respectable. It is respectable. Arizona is a dumpster fire. I mean, Jacoby Brissett puts them in a good chance to win. Jacoby Brissett is he set an NFL record last year, or last week, not last year, last week. You know, I mean, this is a game that Jacksonville should win, but I 100% could see them losing because it's Jacksonville. Plain and simple. But I'm going to ride with Jacksonville. I mean, it's a 3-point spread here. I'm going to ride with them. And hopefully it pans out, you know. I mean, but I'm going to ride with them. We got Cleveland and the Raiders. This game is a 4-point spread here. Yeah, Cleveland going to Las Vegas. Vegas is favored by 4. Shocking, right? Shadur Sanders is going to get the start. Yeah, man, he did not look great. He did not look great when he came in. But I do think that him getting first team reps, I don't think he's as bad as everyone makes him out to be. I really do. Will they beat the Raiders? No fucking clue. I have no clue. I mean, the Raiders are dog shit. The Browns, they're right behind them. I mean, they're both 2-8. The Browns have their own problems. I mean, defensive-wise, the Browns should be able to contain what the Raiders are going to do on offense. Geno Smith could have another bad day just because of the defense. Do I have a lot of faith in Geno Smith? No, I don't. I really don't. Do I think Vegas could win? Yeah, 100%. Do they win by 4? Yeah, that I don't know. I don't think so. I think Shadur will come out prepared. And what I'm afraid of is that the public is going to, you know, follow suit, you know, and follow the clout of the Sanders name. Whereas, I mean, if they watched anything with the last game, I mean, go and pick Vegas. I know actual Las Vegas, the sports bettors are probably looking at this and saying, you know what? I mean, we're going to put Vegas as a favorite here. Because that's what makes sense, watching what Shadur did and garbage time, or when the game, it wasn't garbage, it was when the game was on the line against the Ravens. I mean, I think Shadur could be better prepared here, and this would be a big test. It'll be a big eye test for everybody watching to see what could actually happen with Shadur at quarterback with a week of practice under his belt. Hopefully he's been paying attention, because, I mean, that's what this is riding on. It's riding on a more capable team against a team that is just really down on its luck this year. Pete Carroll has not been able to transform this thing the way that he wants it. And Dallas just completely dismantled the Raiders last week. Now, it's not fair because you had Pickens and Lamb going up against that defense. I mean, how are you going to stop that, really? They did not have the tools to stop that. I mean, Lamb, Pickens, and Fergie all did what they were supposed to do. It was the defense that really mattered. The defense came in. They did, what Dallas defense is supposed to do. They did not play like they were the worst team in the league on defense. Can the Browns do similar on defense? I'm not asking them to play all-star defense. What I want them to do is I want them to play a defense that beats the Raiders. So give me the plus money here. Give me +4 against the Raiders, and I'll ride Sanders. We'll see what happens. We have another division game of Atlanta versus New Orleans. The Saints. This is a 2-point game. Yeah, man. If I told you the Falcons were 3-7, I mean, would you believe me? Would you think that is even possible with Robinson, Pitts, and London? Whoever you have at quarterback, Penix or Cousins. And I told you they're 3-7. They lost in overtime last week. Now, granted, I mean, Bryce Young played out of his mind. But, I mean, when are we going to just start realizing that defensive coaches got to put a great offensive coordinator in place? I mean, I was really hoping he'd have better success, and he should have better success. 100%. Morris should have had a lot more success with this talented Atlanta Falcons squad than what he has done. A 3-7 record with that squad is ridiculous in my eyes. You have an offensive powerhouse. I mean, you could just run the ball. You have two running backs that can push the line. You have a bear in the backup, and you have the gazelle as the starter. Just run the ball. I don't get it. They get fancy, and then your guy can't throw it, right? Or your guy's not accurate or whatever. Penix is actually really accurate. Now he's injured. Now you got to deal with Kirk Cousins. Just run the ball. Please, just run it. That's all I'm asking. You got the backs, just run the ball. New Orleans has been playing pretty good lately. They're 2-8, not as bad as the Falcons, but I mean, just think about that. You got the Saints that are 2-8 and the Falcons 3-7. There's one game that separates them, those two. The Saints could end up higher than the Falcons by at the end of the year. I mean, that to me, that's just mind-boggling. That's ridiculous. But the way that everything's been conspiring, I mean, Kirk Cousins is playing horrible. Atlanta is playing horrible. The coaching is horrible. But give me New Orleans. I'll take New Orleans by 2. They're favored by 2. So, I mean, give me 2. Give me the Saints. Done. We got Philly versus Dallas, which I kind of wish this was a Sunday night game, but that already, we already had a night game together. But Dallas it's in Dallas. Dallas is not favored. They're the 3-point underdog. And I'm going to take Dallas. Why? Because I'm a homer, and that's what I do. But also because I do think the turmoil in Philly is going to catch up to them. And I think that Dallas I think the defense is clicking, I think it's clicking. I think that offense is going to do just fine. Philly's got injuries on offense and on defense. And I think Dallas can take advantage of that. They were so close in game 1 this year. They've made some additions to the defense, and the offense has been clicking basically all year. So I mean, let's take the Dallas Cowboys with a tie to win against the 8-2 Philadelphia Eagles. I would actually take them to win, but I'll take the points here just because you gotta be smart. You gotta be smart. But give me the Cowboys. Sunday night, we got Tampa Bay versus the Rams. And what my conversation earlier about the Bucs is they don't play up in the competition. And so it makes me it makes a no-brainer for me to just go with the Rams here. The Rams by 8 is what some lines are, but I'll take it at 6.5. That's what my line is 6.5. Give me a touchdown for the Rams. I think the Rams actually, I think they do some work against Tampa Bay. I think for Tampa Bay to have continued success against these higher tiers of the competition, they need their players back. Plain and simple. You can't do this with injuries. This league is not built for teams to be decimated by injuries. You need to be healthy. And if you can't be healthy, you're going to win some games, but it's going to come down to it. I mean, it's going to bite you in the end. It really is. You're not going to have long-term success. It's not going to be sustainable with injuries. And that's where Tampa Bay is right now. I like Tampa Bay. I like the makeup of their team. I like their coaching. I like their players. I like the way they play. But the Rams are better. And they're healthy. Tampa Bay is not. The public is probably going to ride with Tampa Bay here. And I'm going to go with the Rams because, they are the better team here. They are the better team. Give me a touchdown. And, let's win it. The last game on this slate is Carolina versus Niners. Open and shut. This is going to be the Niners. I don't care what type of game Carolina had last. Bryce Young threw for record amount of yards. The Carolina they're 6-5. San Francisco 7-4. This is going to be in San Francisco, and the Niners are favored by 7. And I'll take the 7. I'll take it. This NFC versus NFC, South versus the West. I think San Francisco is just the better team. Carolina is dealing with injuries, and they have definitely. I will say this though, Carolina. I like what Carolina is doing down there, but I'm just thinking of the competition they're going to be playing. It's going to be San Francisco. It's not a huge up because San Francisco has had injuries as well, but San Francisco is they've been taking care of business. You look at who they've kind of played with is they've been kind of back and forth. They lost to the Rams. They lost big to the Rams. But that's the Rams. The Rams is probably arguably one of the best teams in the league. They're in the top 5 for sure. They're in the top 5. There's like a handful that are kind of the same level, and the Rams are one of them. San Francisco completely obliterated the Cardinals, which that's what they're supposed to do. They beat the Giants. They're supposed to. They lost to the Texans. They beat Atlanta, which Atlanta sucks. They lost to Tampa Bay. They beat the Rams earlier in the year by 3 points. They lost to Jacksonville. They beat Arizona, and then they lost, and then they beat the Saints. Their record and their games are not really they don't really tell San Francisco's true story. Why? Because San Francisco has had really devastating injuries, and they have overcome that. Carolina, on their hand, they had a 3-game win streak when they were playing Miami, Dallas, and the Jets. That's a nice group of teams that have wins over. You should have wins over the Jets and Miami. The Dallas one is a head scratcher, but the defense was playing like crap, and Rico had the game of his life. You beat Green Bay, which that's what I'm saying. Like Green Bay, come on, Green Bay, you're better than that. But they lost to New Orleans, but New Orleans has picked it up. I'm just looking back, and that's not how really you gauge teams, but trying to get a story of how these teams are. San Francisco is the better team. They're the better squad. They put points on, so I think San Francisco wins this by a touchdown. I think Carolina has, I think fatigue might start creeping in Carolina because of injuries and how they've been playing. It was a huge game, this last game. Now, granted, it's Monday night. So, who knows, prime time. San Francisco tends to come out in prime time. So yeah, give me the Niners. Just to recap some of these picks that I got, I got the Bills -5, the Bears -2.5. I got the Ravens -13.5, Lions -10, Patriots -6, the Seahawks -13, Packers -6.5, Chiefs -3, the Jags -3, Browns +4, Saints -2, Cowboys +3, Rams -6.5, and give me the Niners -7. And that wraps up that slate. Good football this weekend. Hope you can watch it. Last weekend was good football, but didn't really pan out the way that I wanted to. I definitely lost some units on that one. There were some games, just really, like I said earlier, injuries played a big part. Hopefully injuries don't play a big part this week, and get back out there, get in the win column. And I hope you can too. If you're listening, leave a comment. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Podcasts. And I haven't done recap episodes just because let's just get the picks out there, right? We don't need a huge analysis of all the games. Once I get it, if I get Murph back, or I get another co-host in here, then we can kind of banter back and forth on recap. But I think my analysis of the games is enough for the picks, and we can go down that route. If it turns out that maybe it is better with recap, then guess what? I'll come right back with recap. But show me some love, give me some comments, give me some likes. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this out. Hopefully this weekend is going to be a good week. Just know that so far for the year, this is the 12th weekend. That means 11 weeks have gone where I've had picks on every single game, and I still have a winning percentage. It's not high, it's not great, but it's above 50, and it's above 52 actually, and that's all you need in order to be unit positive, is to be over 52% right. And that's just for NFL. We got other sports happening. We got hockey. We got basketball, NBA. We've got college basketball. We've got the slip of my mind. Oh, college football. And I think college football is really the topic of the town now because of all the coaching changes. Like who's going to Florida and who's going to LSU. Is Marcus Freeman going to come down? Is he leaving Notre Dame? And that opens up another spot. James Franklin domino already fell, and he's going to Virginia Tech. And man, what a sneaky hire that is. I mean, James Franklin is most likely going to excel at Virginia Tech and do very well. That ACC is open for the picking as far as a leader to come out for a school. Clemson is down. SMU tried to fill that horse. Outside of that, Miami keeps faltering. Louisville is a nice one, but I mean, can Louisville ever come in clutch? I mean, they have a coaching issue themselves, I believe. No, that was Arkansas, not Louisville. But yeah, Arkansas's got a spot. I mean, that's 3 SEC teams right there. And if Lane Kiffin leaves, and you got Ole Miss. I mean, there's rumors about the Texas job, but I don't think the Texas job is going anywhere. I mean, man, this coaching carousel is going to be pretty sick. Does Dan Lanning, does he leave Oregon? Does he go down to one of these SEC schools? I don't see him going down and going to an ACC. I mean, he would only leave Oregon for an SEC school. That's one thing that yeah, he wouldn't leave Oregon. Although Oregon, as they've been kind of crappy this year. Where are the recruits at? Where's that play at? The Big Ten sucks. I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, the Big Ten sucks. The ACC sucks. The Big 12 sucks. It's all about the SEC. And I know that's a point that a lot of people don't like. But if you think about it, who in the Big Ten? You got Indiana and Ohio State. Oregon has kind of fallen off the map, but they're there. But outside of those 3, there's really nobody else in the Big Ten that's screaming, oh yeah, pick me. Ohio State is there by default because they're defending champs, and they've not slipped up. They've lived up, to the hype so far. Now, granted, you could argue who the hell have they played, right? I mean, that's fair. That is fair. They're probably not going to play anybody until the playoff, and they play Indiana. Then we have a matchup because Indiana's in the same boat. I like Indiana. I think their coach is a great coach so far. But I just think the Big Ten is ripe for the picking because outside of those top 3 teams, everybody else is just crap. Michigan, no. Michigan State, no. Illinois, no. Penn State, God, no. They fired the coach. So, I mean, And you look at the ACC, you can say the same thing. Who's the leader of the ACC, right? Miami was supposed to be it, but I mean, look what happened with them. Louisville, the ones that beat the Louisville's the team that beat some of them. I mean, who is going to be playing in the ACC championship game? Is it going to be Georgia Tech? Is Georgia Tech going to be the one that comes? I mean, like what's going to happen in the ACC? I'll tell you this: whoever the winner is in the ACC is going to be a garbage team, and it doesn't matter in the football playoff because they're not going to get past whoever it is that they're going to play unless they have to play like Appalachian State or James Madison because they got in. You know what I mean? Like that. That's how I look at it. And then you look at the Big 12, and it's fool's gold to look at the top team in the Big 12. It really is. It's fool's gold. You look at BYU, you look at Texas Tech, and I think I really do think it's just fool's gold to look at those teams coming out of the Big 12. I think if they played a team that, like an SEC type team, I think it'd be a different story. I really do. And we're going to find out in the playoff, right? Because one of them has to make it in. And I say all this to say that I don't think two teams in the Big 12 deserve to be in the – I don't think that's a good showing for the Big 12. I don't think they're good enough to have two teams in the playoff. I don't think the ACC is good enough to have two teams in the playoff. If it ends up being Ohio State and Indiana in the Big 10, yes, they do deserve to be in the playoffs. Both those teams deserve to be in the playoffs. Does Oregon – well, that's debatable. So then where do the rest of the teams come in for the 12? The SEC. The SEC is going to have like 4 or 5 people going in, And then not only that, you got these at-large bids, from some of these smaller conferences, like Appalachian State or James Madison or whatever. Right? They're going to come in and they're going to play because they won their conference or whatever. They can get the automatic bid. But these at-larges, I mean, where are you going to fill them at? These at-larges, they should not come from the ACC, and they should not come from the Big 12. Unless it's a situation where, like, Arizona State makes it to the Big 12 championship, and they play BYU, and they beat BYU. Arizona State gets in. But honestly, I mean, BYU probably would deserve to be in. That's the only way that I see like two teams from the Big 12 making it in is if a team that won the Big 12 championship probably shouldn't have. It's not a knock on Arizona State. It's just, true facts. Same thing with the ACC, right? I mean, if it's like, it's not a scenario that's going to happen, but let's say it's SMU versus Georgia Tech for the ACC championship game. And SMU wins. The SMU gets into the playoff like they did last year. Like, the big question is, does the best team in the ACC still deserve to go into the playoff where the best team is neither Georgia Tech or SMU? I think that's fair to say. And so then that's the only situation where I say two teams from the ACC will be in and two teams from the Big 12 is if someone unexpected wins the championship. And so I just hope that the best team wins the championship so that we don't have to have that type of argument. We don't have to see two teams from those conferences because I think it's a wasted spot. I do think another team from the SEC could play better and has a better chance, and you get better football. It's better competition. And that's plain and simple. If you're a Big 12 fan, you hear that, I'm sorry. But, I mean, that's just how it is. That's why Texas and Oklahoma went over to the SEC. That's why SEC gets all the recruits. That's why the Big Ten is so top heavy, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And it's just a down year for the Big Ten, to be honest with you. Oregon has really not played up to their level. They've played quietly is what I'll just put it at. They've been playing really quietly. Northwestern has been a spoiler so far, but you have Indiana and Ohio State that's just been, dominating the airwaves from the Big Ten. If the Big Ten had 4 teams that were top heavy and great, like if it was Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State, then I wouldn't have what I'm saying with the Big Ten is, I only want to see 2 teams from the Big Ten. Today, that's all I want to see. I would love to see 4. 4 from them, 5 from the SEC, and then you have your conference championships and off, or 4 from the SEC. Sorry, and you have your Big 12, ACC, and then your at large, or your other conference. Was it? I forget what it is. Is it the American? Is that what it is? Like a team like UNT makes it in. So I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. But it's fun to talk. I think that's fun to talk about. I really do, because you have no idea what's going to happen. And it makes you want to watch college football and root for certain teams. My team is out, right? I mean, my team's going to be out, the Longhorns. I mean, I really don't see them. There'd have to be some magic, crazy witchcraft happening in order to get them back in the mix. And I don't even know if I want to see them in the mix. I mean, the way that they played against Georgia was trash. And I mean, it's going to be a big game, and I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see a team that's just outmatched and they're in there just to be in there. I don't want to see that. That's not fun to me. But like watching A&M, I think watching A&M is going to be awesome. Georgia, awesome. Alabama, watching them, I think is going to be awesome. Is OU going to make in? I think that's an interesting conversation, right? But the SEC, they just cannibalize each other so much. Any given Saturday, I guess. But yeah, tune in on Saturday. Let's see what happens with the college football playoff race. Sunday, we got the football, so hopefully, you stay responsible and you like a couple games. Be careful for the Patriots game. Be mindful of that one because of Joe Burrow. But I think that Joe Burrow, even if Joe Burrow plays, I think the Patriots still win by 6. And let me know what you got with the Packers, because I have no faith in the Packers, man. I really don't, but I got to pick them. I have to. But yeah, comment, like, subscribe. We're on Apple, we're on YouTube, and we are on Spotify. But without further ado, go grab a drink this weekend. Watch some football, sit back and relax, and good luck. I'm out. Bye.